Good afternoon again. Please be upstanding for the procession. Thank you very much.
Please be seated. President, Chancellor, past President, members of faculty, distinguished guests, and of course our graduates and your guests. You're very welcome this afternoon to the RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences conferring ceremonies. Before we start the formal procedures, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the platform party. At the table to the front, to your right, is Dr. Maurice Manning, Chancellor of the National University of Ireland. Beside him, Professor Laura Vianney, President of the Royal College of Surgeons of Ireland. Then behind them, again from your right, Dr. Patrick O'Leary, Registrar of the NUI, Professor Fergal O'Brien, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Research and Innovation at RCSI, Ms. Judith Gilroy, Associate Director for Academic Affairs, Dr. Jenny Moffat, Educationalist from the Health Professions Education Centre at RCSI, Professor Tracy Robson, Head of the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences, Professor Darren O'Connor, Head of the School of Postgraduate Studies, our candidate for Honorary Doctorate, Professor Roseanne Kenny, beside her, Professor Hannah McGee, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and my name is Cathal Kelly, VC, RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences. RCSI degrees are under Irish legislation and are also degrees of the National University of Ireland. I would now invite all our graduates to stand as I call on the Registrar of the National University of Ireland to formally open the NUI conferring ceremonies. If our graduates could stand.
Universitas Hiberniae Nationalis, pre honorables cancellariae, totaque universitas, hic comita universitariae hoda convocata sunt, und hic mulieres maxima eximi, et hic viri maxima eximi, at gradus academicos admittantur. This is a meeting of the National University of Ireland for the purpose of conferring degrees. The graduates will be presented by Professor Cathal Kelly, Vice-Chancellor, RCSI, and the degrees will be conferred by Dr. Maurice Manning, Chancellor, NUI.
This is a meeting of the RCSI University of Medicine and Health Sciences for the purpose of conferring degrees. I will present the graduates in my role as Vice-Chancellor of RCSI, and the degrees will be conferred by Professor Laura Vianney, President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. I now declare open the conferring ceremony, and I would invite the graduates from pharmacy or the Masters in Pharmacy only to remain standing, other graduates can be seated. And I would with pleasure invite Professor Hannah McGee, Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Academic Affairs at RCSI, to come forward and lead you in the Graduates' Declaration.
The RCSI Graduate Declaration, which you will recite together this afternoon, is a commitment to the highest standards of professionalism and ethical practice in your career as taught during your studies at RCSI. And it gives me great pleasure on this special day of your conferring to invite you, the graduates of the Master of Pharmacy, to recite after me the Declaration. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. The health of my patient will be my first concern. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will remember that there is art to my profession as well as science, and that warmth, empathy, and understanding may outweigh treatment alone.
I will remember that there is art to my profession as well as science, and that warmth, empathy, and understanding may outweigh treatment alone.
I will respect the confidential information that is entrusted in me, even after a patient has died.
I will respect the confidential information that is entrusted in me, even after a patient has died.
I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient.
I will not permit considerations of age, disease, or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient.
I will not use my professional knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat.
I will not use my professional knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat.
I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge with those that follow.
I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge with those that follow.
I will abide by the code of conduct of my profession, and I will promote high standards of practice, lifelong education, and research in the interests of human health.
I will abide by the code of conduct of my profession, and I will promote high standards of practice, lifelong education, and research in the interests of human health.
I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Thank you. I now invite the graduates who are receiving the following awards to stand and ask the Masters in Pharmacy students to sit. So the postgraduate certificates, the postgraduate diploma, the Master of Science in Technologies and Analytics and Precision Medicine, Doctor of Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy. If you would stand. And I now invite you graduates to recite after me the declaration located on page 11 of your conferring booklet. I acknowledge my position at the forefront of my field of learning and scholarship. I understand my responsibility to use this learning to contribute and lead in my community. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will respect the confidential information that is entrusted in me. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to interfere with my duties in my chosen profession. I will not use my knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat.
I will not use my knowledge to violate
I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge with those that follow. I will promote high standards of practice, lifelong education, and research in the interests of human health. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honour. Thank you.
For the award of Postgraduate Diploma in Health Professions Education, I invite the graduates to be upstanding as I present you for conferring. Pre honorabilis cancellariae, totaque universitas, prosento vobis has meus filios et hos meus filios, quos sim tam moribus, quam doctrina habiles, et esse qui admittor ad diploma post baccalaureatum, idique tibi fide mea testor, expondeo totaque academiae. I now invite the Chancellor of the National University of Ireland to invite the graduates.
Ego auctoritatem mihi concessa, admitto vobis, presento vobis certificationem post baccalaureatum.
I invite the President of RCSI to admit the graduates.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates with a postgraduate diploma.
Dr. Jenny Moffat from the Health Professions Education Centre at RCSI will now introduce the graduates to receive their award.
I will now call each of you to come forward to receive your parchment. Robert Argent. Zainab Baker. Alessandra Biagini. Claire Condren. Ronan Daly. Louise Fitzsimons. Rukshan Gunawardena. Anwar Gawi. Louise Hanley. Judith Harmy. Tara Hayden. Sinead Hurley. Owen Judge. Sarah Lawless, in absentia. Ruth Little, in absentia. Ronan Maher, in absentia. And Amy McGreal Bellone. Mina Megali. Isabella Orban. Michelle O'Toole. Catherine Richards. Ethna Scully. And Catherine Ohum Amobi. The following candidates will be conferred in absentia today. If you're watching via live stream, we wish you congratulations on your achievement. Catherine Benson, Katrina Caher, Eileen Carton, Mei Wai Chan, Stephen Fagan, Su Cheng Fung, Keith Garrity, Rachel Granger, Andrew Law, Mark McCabe, Cathal McCarthy, Susan McGrath, Leona Moore, Siobhan O'Regan, and Damir Varaslia. That concludes the conferment of the Postgraduate Diploma in Health Professions Education.
For the award of the degree of Master of Pharmacy, MPharm, I invite the graduates for the Master of Pharmacy to please be upstanding. Prae honorabilis cancellare, totaque universitas, presento vobis has meus filios philosque meos, quos sim tam moribus, quam doctrina habiles in esse qui admittor ad graduum magisteri in pharmacia, idaque tibi fide mea testor, expondeo totaque academiae. I invite the Chancellor of the NUI to admit the graduates.
Ego auctoritatem mihi concessa, admitto vos ad gradum magisteri in pharmacia.
I admit the President of RCSI to admit the graduates.
By virtue of office of my President, I admit you graduates of the Master of Pharmacy.
Professor Tracy Robson, Head of the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences at RCSI, will now introduce the individual graduates.
I will now call on each graduand to come forward to receive your parchment. Mariam Al-Mafreji. Hitam Amin, in absentia. Rachel Buckley. Marie Cahill. Carl Campion. Ellen Casey. Kira Cassidy. Lisa Compton. Sarah Cullen. Naba Duhabawi. Dylan Dooley. Anya Fitzgerald. Danielle, Fleming. Tara Flynn. Eva Fraser. Mark Greenan. Ellen Healy. Kieran Holton. Leah Kilmartin. Aoife Canaan. Megan Kirk. Liam Kassan. Pearl Lancaster. Aoife Lane. Anthony Moore. Noreen Moore. Emma Malone. Olivia McCabe. Alexandra Moore. Niall Monaghan. Aoife Mulhern. Amy Murphy. Mervyn Nolan. Clodagh O'Carroll. Sarah O'Neill. Dara O'Shea. Liam Rowley. Kelly Sexton. Aoife Walsh. Ciara Walsh. Aoife Marie Winter. The following candidates will be conferred in absentia today. If you're watching live, we wish you congratulations on your achievement. Jodie D, Aoife Fitzmaurice, Sua Jung. That concludes the conferment of the degree of Master of Pharmacy. Congratulations to you all.
For the award of the degree of Master of Science, MSc, we move to the award of the Master of Science in Technologies and Analytics in Precision Medicine. This is the first time we have made this award at RCSI. If I could ask the candidate for this award to please be upstanding. Pre honorabilis cancellariae totique universitas, presento vobis hanc meum filium, quam scio quam moribus, quam doctrina habiles, in esse qui admitter, ad graduum magisteria scientiae, idique tibi fide mea testor, expondeo totique academiae. I invite the Chancellor of the NUI to admit the graduate.
Ego auctoritata mihi concessa, admitto te ad gradum magisterii scientiae.
I invite the President of RCSI to admit the graduate.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you a graduate of the Master of Science, Technologies and Analytics in Precision Medicine.
Professor Tracy Robson will introduce the graduate to the lectern.
I now invite Aoife Flanagan, the first of our full-time cohort, to come forward to receive your parchment. That concludes the conferment of the Master of Science. Congratulations on your achievement.
For the award of the degree of Doctor of Medicine, MD, I would now like to invite the graduates for the Doctor of Medicine to please be upstanding. Pre honorabilis cancellariae totique universitas, presento vobis has meas filias, filimque meum, quos sam tam moribus, quam doctrina habiles in esse qui admitter ad graduam doctoratus in medicina, idique tibi fide mea testor, expondeo totique academiae. The Chancellor of the NUI will admit the graduates.
Ego auctoritata mihi concessa, admitto vos ad gradum doctoratus in medicina.
The President of RCSI will admit the graduates.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates of the Doctor of Medicine.
I invite Professor Darren O'Connor, Head of the School of Postgraduate Studies of RCSI, to come to introduce the graduates.
I will now invite each graduate to come forward to receive your parchment. Cornelia Carey. The glutamate GABA system in atypical neurodevelopment. Michael Daly. Assessing the utility of hybrid simulation with wearable technology and repeated peer assessment on medical student learning and performance in cardiology long case examinations, the Assimilate Excellence Study. Michael also won the Times Higher Education Most Innovative Teacher of the Year award this year. The following candidate will be conferring an abstention today. If you're watching live via the live stream, we wish to congratulate you on your achievement. James Clerkin. And that concludes the conferring of the degree of Doctor of Medicine. Congratulations on your achievements.
For the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, I would invite the graduates for Doctor of Philosophy to please be upstanding. Pre honorabilis cancellariae totaque universitas, presentu vobis has meas filias, philosque meos, quosam tamoribus quam doctrina habiles in esse qui admittor ad graduam doctoratus philosophiae, idaque tibi fide mea testor, expondeo totaque academiae. I invite the Chancellor of the NUI to admit the graduates.
Ego auctoritata mihi concessa, admitto vos ad gradum doctoratus philosophiae.
I invite the President of RCSI to admit the graduates.
By virtue of my office of President, I admit you graduates of the Doctor of Philosophy.
Professor Darren O'Connor, Head of our School of Postgraduate Studies, will now introduce the individual graduates.
I will now invite each graduate to come forward to receive your parchment. Joan Devon. Evaluation of health information technologies with respect to medication safety, workflow and data usage potential in maternal and newborn care. Niamh Dooley. Prenatal predictors of child and adolescent mental health. Our first PhD scholar from our RCSI Perdana campus, Darlene Fadil Azim. The effectiveness of a personalised digital health intervention plan on clinical and psychological outcomes among cardiac patients at the National Heart Institute, a randomised controlled trial. Thomas Frawley. Small extracellular vesicle communication and cisplatin resistance in the neuroblastoma microenvironment. Rogerio Garbatin, identification of new features and evaluation of antimirror-based seizure therapies in a transgenic mouse model of Dravet syndrome. Mona Hyland. A cannabidiol-regulated microRNA controls brain excitability and is a target for seizure control. Leonie Heskin. Surgical simulation, considerations and features for the optimum simulator for open surgical skill acquisition in limb trauma procedures. My own PhD scholar, Camille Hurley. The role of immune subpopulations in governing therapeutic response in early HER2 positive breast cancer. Nicola Judge. Development of ring-opening mini-emulsion polymerization of N-carboxyanhydride monomers for the formation of polypeptide nanoparticles. Next is our valedictorian for 2022, Donald Kelly. Development of siRNA-activated scaffold enabling targeted knockdown of pro-inflammatory signaling pathways for enhancing cartilage tissue regeneration. Camelia Krysiak. Medication safety in neonatal intensive care. Kelvin Lau Y Hao. MicroRNA editing alters target selection and regulated pathways in human temporal lobe epilepsy. Manjula Manikandan. Examining health surface use among adults with cerebral palsy, a mixed methods approach. Claire Ann Murphy. Platelets, thrombin generation, and extracellular vesicles, the effects of prematurity and COVID-19 on neonatal coagulation. Danielle Nader. Taking control, hijacking of endothelial integrin signaling networks by pathogens. Joanne O'Brien Kelly. Can the design, development, and examination of an e-health self-management resource facilitate improved self-management outcomes, enhance self-efficacy, and impact fibromyalgia patients' global impression of change, a mixed method sequential study? Roberta Pacifico. Pyridine-based 1,2,3 triazoles, a new class of potential CAT2A inhibitors and scaffolds for CH activation and catalysis. Fresh off the plane from Toronto, Canada, Lucy Perham. The clinical utility of the lung clearance index as a monitoring tool in cystic fibrosis. Jessica Smith, regulation of colonic epithelial function by the nuclear bile acid receptor, farnesoid X receptor. Suzanne Smith. Single-site pilot clinical investigation of a novel app-assisted self-management program for gestational diabetes. Subhash Raj Susai. A biological investigation of the role of omega-3 fatty acids on psychopathology in clinically high risk of psychosis. The following candidates will be conferring an abstention today. If you're watching via live stream, we wish you congratulations on your achievement. Tareem Khalid, Javier Melo Diaz, Jonathan Smith, and Duong Trin. That concludes the conferment of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations on your achievements.
Pre honorables cancellariae, tota qua universitas, caermonis, rita confectus, queso facius finem, heius convectionis universitariae. That completes the NUI conferring ceremony.
Congratulations to all our new graduates. At this point, we now proceed to the conferring of the award of Honorary Doctorate of RCSI University of Medicine Health Sciences. Today, we're proud to confer the award of Honorary Doctorate on Professor Roseanne Kenny, Regius Professor of Physics Professor of Medical Gerontology at Trinity College Dublin, and Mercer Institute for Successful Ageing at St James's Hospital in Dublin. I'm now delighted to invite our honorary doctorate recipient, Professor Roseanne Kenny, to join us to the front of the stage. RCSI established an annual honorary doctorate award in 2011 to recognise excellence and to provide an inspiration to you, our graduates, on your big day. The awardees are exceptional people who've made a difference to the world through education, research, or service. We as RCSI staff believe that you, our graduates today, will also make a difference for good in the world. And we want, through hearing their stories and their words, to inspire and to challenge you on this special day to make a difference. The doctorate will be conferred by the President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, Professor Laura Vianney, and it gives me great pleasure to invite the Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Professor Hannah McGee, to formally introduce our honorary doctorate awardee, Professor Roseanne Kenny.
President, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our candidate for the RCSI Honorary Doctorate Award, Professor Roseanne Kenny. Professor Roseanne Kenny, as you've heard, is Regius Professor of Physics, Professor of Medical Gerontology at Trinity College Dublin, Director of the Falls and Syncope Unit at St James's Hospital, Director of the Mercer Institute for Successful Ageing at St James's Hospital, and founding principal investigator of the Irish longitudinal study on ageing called TILDA. Professor Kenny is a medical graduate of NUI Galway. She completed her clinical training in London, working at the Hammersmith and Westminster hospitals. In 1989, she was appointed as Professor of Cardiovascular Medicine at the University of Newcastle, where she was also head of the academic and clinical departments of medical gerontology. In 1986, while working as a research fellow in cardiology at Westminster Hospital, Professor Kenny developed the Head-Up Tilt test, a diagnostic test now replicated worldwide in the investigation of syncope. She runs an annual syncope training certificate and has chaired the European Cardiac Society Heart Rhythm Society Syncope Unit Guidelines Group. In 2005, she returned to Ireland as Professor of Medical Gerontology at Trinity College Dublin and head of the Academic Department of Medical Gerontology at St James's Hospital here in Dublin. In 2009, she became the founding lead principal investigator of the Irish longitudinal study on ageing, TILDA. TILDA is the largest and most successful population-based longitudinal study conducted in Ireland to date. It is also unique amongst longitudinal studies of ageing internationally in the breadth and depth of physical, mental, and cognitive health measures obtained from participants, including unique measures of dynamic neurocardiovascular responses to physiological challenges, together with extensive questionnaire data addressing the broad range of individual and societal level determinants of healthy and successful ageing. Findings from the study have been cited in approximately 100 policy documents to date in Ireland and internationally. Its ongoing research programme has produced over 350 peer-reviewed papers and contributed to over 50 reports and discussion papers. The TILDA dataset provides a wealth of information on contemporary ageing in Ireland and is publicly archived in the US and in Ireland. We at RCSI are delighted to have been involved with Professor Kenny and TILDA from the early planning phases to today, and have our measure of ageing perceptions and primary and cardiovascular care inputs to this remarkable national and international resource. In 2016, Professor Kenny launched a new 120-bedded clinical research institute called the Mercer Institute for Successful Ageing, MESA, on the site of St James's Hospital, where she is also director of a state-of-the-art dedicated falls and syncope facility, the largest such service in Europe. Professor Kenny has over 600 scientific publications to date, not finished yet, including 57 book chapters, 4 textbooks, and most recently, a book for a general audience called Age Proof, The New Science of Living a Longer and Healthier Life, which has reached bestseller status, has been translated into many different languages, and has also been shortlisted for the Royal Society Science Book Prize of 2022. Professor Kenny is a member of the Royal Irish Academy, the first female physician to be admitted. She's a Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh, London and Ireland, a Fellow of Trinity College Dublin, a Fellow of the European Society of Cardiology, and an Honorary Fellow of the Faculty of Public Health Medicine of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland. Over the course of her distinguished career, Professor Kenny has garnered over 50 medals, awards, and keynote lectures. The World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics Lifetime Achievement Award, the winner of the 2003 UK Bupa Foundation Care Award, the NHS Modernisation Award in Clinical Leadership in the NHS, and a runner-up there in 2003, and the British Hospital Doctor Award, runner-up in 2003. And in 2018, she was designated as a health hero in the Irish Times. In 2020, she was elected President of the Irish Gerontological Society. In June this year, Professor Kenny was appointed Regius Professor of Physics at Trinity College Dublin. She is the 24th person and the first woman to hold this prestigious professorship, which is the oldest in Ireland, established in 1637, and one of the oldest medical professorships in Europe. The Latin physic refers to the art or practice of healing diseases. Roseanne, we are delighted to welcome you here today. You are indeed a national treasure. And for any of us, including the younger graduates today, if any or all of us live to be old, our healthcare will most definitely have been influenced by the work of Professor Kenny. We are proud that you, an unparalleled contributor to clinical research on ageing, have joined our special graduation ceremony to accept the highest academic award of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, the Honorary Doctorate in Science. And I now call on the President of the RCSI, Professor Laura Vianney, to make the award.
So by virtue of my office of President, it gives me great pleasure to award you the Honorary Doctorate of the Royal College of Surgeons. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wonderful. What's the date?
It now gives me great pleasure to invite our RCSI Honorary Doctorate, Professor Roseanne Kenny, to address us.
Here's my piece of paper. Well, I'm hugely humbled after all of that, and I thank you very much. I thank the Chancellor, of course, the President, the Vice-Chancellor, distinguished faculty, distinguished guests, and fellow academic postgraduates. You have all worked so hard in your different health-related disciplines to earn today's ceremony, and it is an honor and a pleasure for me to share this celebration with you. We are really very fortunate to be living now and engaged in healthcare now, in a period of such rapid growth in research and in discovery. To give you an example of that, in 1850, the doubling time for new medical and scientific information was 150 years. In 1997, it was 20 years. And now, today, it's 9 months. Today, we have 5,000 biomedical journals. And each month, they publish over 20,000 original articles. Quite remarkable. So there's no chance whatsoever, graduates, that your research won't get published. Aging is part of that rapid growth. In 100 years, the world has changed markedly from no countries where life expectancy was 50 or more, to almost all developed countries having a life expectancy of 80 and higher. The pace of these changes is extraordinary. And the this great demographic shift has captured the imagination of the media. In 2015, the front cover of Time magazine had a picture of a baby, and the caption below it ran, "This baby could live to 140 years old." And that's the case, that's the projections. I remember when I was a young junior doctor, if we had a 100-year-old patient on the wards, we all went up to have a look. It was so very unusual. But of course, it's not unusual anymore. And the biological consequences and population impact of aging is a unique human experience. It is unheard of in the rest of the animal kingdom. Women today live half of their adult lives after losing reproductive potential. So have you ever paused to ask yourself, what is aging? Why we age? What are the processes and changes that underpin aging? After all, we will all age. There's only one other alternative. And we do know that the aging process starts very early on, and that in each of you now, this process has begun, even in your 20s, in your 30s, and beyond. As healthcare professionals, we recognize aging predominantly as a manifestation of diseases or disorders in the latter quarter or third of our lives, rather than a life course, lifelong process. But those diseases are actually the accumulation of all of the molecular deficits that have gradually accrued during the previous decades. Your future careers, your future in healthcare, be it policy or practice or basic sciences, will intersect with aging, undoubtedly. Those of you in education will help to inform practices for the individual, which will alter their own experience, and generally raise awareness at a societal level and within policy and practice. Those in molecular sciences will enhance our understanding of the causal directions of the biological hallmarks of aging. We recognize these hallmarks, but we've no concept of whether they are the cause or the effect of a process. This area needs much research. Once one understands the triggers for those processes, then one can develop early targets, early interventions relevant to those of you in pharmacy and precision medicine. So that the diseases that we commonly associate with aging, which are the big challenges today, diseases like dementia, like heart disease, kidney disease, stroke, arthritis, that these could at least be prevented or delayed, or maybe cured. Because after all, we've cured polio, leprosy, tuberculosis, smallpox, Cushing's disease, Addison's disease, cataracts. And yet, unfortunately, we will live 1/5 of our lifetime with a disease or a disorder that impacts our function, our ability to carry out normally everyday functions. And this, of course, has significant impact on healthcare policy and practice. And any of you working at the coalface of medicine, you will be directly engaged with the consequences of that process and the necessity for appropriate healthcare delivery. This isn't the first time that we've woken to the whole issue of aging and an elixir for the aging process. The Tang dynasty in China was probably the most sophisticated, cultured period of time in Chinese history, from approximately 600 to 900 AD. And yet, the 22 emperors during that period were very vexed on finding a cure, an answer for aging, and an elixir for eternal youth, such that 6 of the 22 died from self-poisoning medications allegedly produced by their alchemists, which included, for the pharmacists in the audience, mercury and cinnabar and sulfur and gold and a tincture of arsenic. And many of their noblemen also died. And what's remarkable for this very civilized, well-informed period of time in Chinese history is that it took 300 years for the penny to drop. Let's hope we're a little bit more speedy in recognizing the triggers. We know already the triggers for cancer, for example. We understand that it's an initiation of genetic mutations which trigger that process. And we need to apply those same paradigms to understanding better what is behind the aging process, what causes aging. Tilda was set up for that very reason, to answer these questions, to better understand the biology of aging, the overall impact of aging on policy and on practice. And we know that good health does not occur in isolation. Biological aging doesn't happen in isolation. In Tilda and the larger global network of longitudinal studies, which we have co-curated, information is collated on a whole tapestry of features. Not just health, but also social and economic domains. And the consequent discoveries have confirmed, and this is the good news, that 80% of the process of aging is under our control, is modifiable. Only 20% is inherited due to our genes. Isn't that wonderful news? We have control over it. One knows the very well-rehearsed behaviors like diet and exercise and how good they are for health and also for a successful aging process. But how about the beneficial biological impact of variety in life, of curiosity, of having a purpose when you wake up every morning, of having a positive attitude, of creativity, quality of relationships, quality of friendships, and laughter. All of these are really good for us at a biological level. And conversely, the negative impact of social isolation, of loneliness, of stress, of depression, of low education, and of poverty. As scientists and researchers and healthcare professionals, I believe we have a responsibility not just to explore and discover causes and new therapies, but also to understand how we can best use our new information to influence individuals' behaviors and behaviors at a societal level. Remember, it's egalitarian societies that have successful, healthy aging experiences. Socioeconomic disparities are the single biggest negative impact on health in adults after cigarette smoking. So today, all of us are celebrating with our friends and our families the values of further education and scholarly achievement, and I congratulate you warmly. The privilege of an opportunity for education to this level undoubtedly will buffer in ill health in most of us. So it's important that we inform better standards of health and social care for others, mindful of the bigger picture, that good health doesn't just occur in isolation. I've been very privileged to share rich collaborations with members of this college over the years. In particular, I would like to acknowledge collaborations with Professor Kevin O'Malley, who many of the distinguished faculty will know. Professor Hannah McGee, you know her as your Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Academic Affairs, who was a trailblazer, however, in her day, for measures of aging perceptions and the quality of life measures. And also, I'd like to acknowledge Professor Tom Fahey in the Department of General Practice at RCSI. We share a number of different research streams. I want you to understand that one of the most positive outcomes from the Tilda study links back to RCSI, and that's how important it is, your perceptions of how you're aging. It is factually correct that you are as young as you feel. And although the process of aging starts very early, it is also the case that it is never too late to intervene. The former statement was for the graduates, the latter for their older family members. A positive attitude will have a positive impact. Today will have a positive impact on your own lifespan. And hopefully many of you will have an opportunity to translate your continued learning into making wherever your destination is, that destination a better place in which to grow old. Because of the importance of social engagement, laughter, fun, creativity on slowing aging, I suspect that today, your aging process will come to a complete standstill by the time the day is finished, and I certainly hope it does. I would like to finish by thanking my family. They would probably add, long-suffering family, and it's true, it's difficult to juggle a professional life and a domestic life. And I think in many ways I failed in the latter. Nonetheless, I thank my husband, Gary, my two lovely boys, Redmond and Pierce, and my sisters, Grace and Kate and Paula. And I recognize my parents, who are no longer with us, Kay and Billy Kenny. And I thank the community I've worked with, who are so passionate and determined to make Ireland the best place in the world to grow old. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kenny. I can't think of more appropriate, more inspiring words to launch a group of postgraduate graduates as they embark on their career in healthcare and science. Thank you for your words. We now move to the presentation of awards for the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences, and I invite the head of school, Professor Tracy Robson, to introduce the awardees.
It gives me great pleasure to announce the winners of awards for the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences. For the awards of Master of Pharmacy, the AstraZeneca Award is presented to the student who achieves the highest overall marks in the final pharmacy examinations, excluding the final year research project. And the winner is Anthony Marr. The Boots Award is presented to the student who achieves the highest overall mark in the MPharm Year 5 Patient Care and Society module. The winners ex aequo are Emma Malone, Aoife Marie Winter, and Ellen Casey. The JPA Brenson Lawler Award is presented to the student who achieves the highest overall mark in the MPharm Leadership in Pharmacy module, Year 5. The winner is Marie Cahill. The Leo Award is presented to the student who achieves the highest overall mark in the MPharm Year 5 Decision Making in Complex Care module. The winner is Aoife Walsh. The Servier Award MPharm Researcher is presented to the student who achieves the highest mark in the MPharm Clinical Research Skills module. The winners are Anthony Marr and Leah Kilmartin. Congratulations to all our MPharm winners.
We now move to the student valedictorian addresses. It's my great pleasure to invite Anthony Marr to address us on behalf of the Master of Pharmacy Class 22.
Uachtarán, Chancellor NUI, last Chancellor NUI, CEO, Clara Hora NUI, Suar Hori, Clara Hori, Cína Scola, Cólachí, Búil Clina, Partnéirí, Acáirde, agus Céimethe. Tá áthas orm agus an bhródúil le bheith ag seasamh os for cóirniu. President, Chancellor NUI, Vice Chancellor NUI, and CEO, Registrar NUI, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Supervisors, registrars, heads of school, colleagues, family members, partners, friends, and fellow graduates. I'm very honoured and humbled to speak to you today on behalf of the MPharm cohort as we graduate definitively from RCSI once again, albeit this time with a bit more relief, vitality, emptier pockets, and fuller brains. For many of us, today represents the crown of our academic and educational achievement, one which I think deserves its appropriate celebration, which I have no doubt will be carried out tonight if the alumni dinner was anything to go off yesterday. It's a privilege to share the stage today with our other stalwarts and leaders of health and social care delivery, our colleagues from HPEC, our cousin from the MSc in precision medicine, and our pacemakers from the MD and PhD graduating today. Speaking on behalf of the MPharm cohort, I suppose we started off this journey as an eclectic bunch. We came from CAOs, science degrees, PTs, overseas, and everything and anything in between. I had just some noteworthy things to mention. After today, we're going to be the third graduating class after the newly redesigned MPharm degree. We are the second class to have received a lecture in the not new anymore 26 York Street. And I think we're the first class in RCSI's history to have more Aoifes graduating than men. I'm sure we could all agree that this course was tough to get into, and it was also a hassle to get out, especially with the impact the pandemic had on it. I'm not going to dwell on this as much, the same has been iterated before, but it was such a strange and unique time. I think that my reflection on it is it's something that really can unify us all going forward, and we can always call upon it. As for that great phase of transitioning online and being able to not wear pants for lectures, I think we can all say that what happens in the height of a global pandemic should stay in the height of a global pandemic. And in truth, in writing the speech last week in Thailand, I was struggling to be original, such as the proficiency of those who've given the speech before me. So I asked my mum for some wisdom, so she gave me some advice as I was going out the door today. So she said, thank the college, thank the lecturers, keep it short, you don't need to be funny. Love, ma'am. So In that fashion, RCSI's extreme benefit to students is its community. It's loyal, proud and tight-knit. The special relationships that we developed with our lecturers and our staff is like no other. The members of faculty go above and beyond, available 24/7 to deal or answer any and all of our needs, from Dara Scannell to Aurea Conroy to Melissa in 1974 or Liliana in Starbucks a few years ago, but to all our year heads, our facilitators, our governing coordinators that we've ever encountered. While I know I didn't appreciate the exams at the time, your wisdom and generosity and encouragement allows us to be on this platform today, and it's very much appreciated. A big chunk of our class through the Kuwaiti program graduated last year, but without a doubt, they will always be the class of 2022 as well. So although they're not with us in person, I'd like to still acknowledge them. I know a few are going to be watching online, so as much as you will always have a place in RCSI, you'll also have a place in a spot in a couch in Tipperary. Not that you may want it, but it's firmly still there. And finally then to my fellow graduates, you could have all have spoken a lot more eloquently than me, so I can resent you while I say, gorgeous Sarish, one and all. I wish you continued double cover, easily read scripts and hour-long lunch breaks as you head into wherever you might end up. And my congratulations once again. It's been a great journey, mighty crack, and I'm sure if we were asked to do it all again, if we had the chance, probably. But we won't think about that either. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Always wise to follow your mother's advice. It now gives me great pleasure to invite the newly minted Dr. Donal Kelly to address us on behalf of the graduating class of School of Postgraduate Studies.
President, Chancellor NUI, Vice Chancellor and CEO Registrar. Deputy Vice Chancellors, Council, Supervisors, Registrars, Heads of Schools, colleagues, family members, partners, friends, and most importantly, fellow graduates. It's my honour and privilege to speak before you today. I'd also like to take this time to thank and welcome and congratulate Professor Roseanne Kenny, the inspiring recipient of today's honorary doctorate. I want to begin with extending my heartfelt congratulations to my fellow graduates. Those here in the room today have succeeded in obtaining the highest academic degrees that Ireland has to offer. While many of us here will be looking forward to the future and what lies ahead, some of you as well may have already moved on to your next adventure. And I said this last night at the graduates' dinner. I want everyone here to take the time to acknowledge this defining moment. Take a moment to reflect on your successes over the last few years. Celebrate your successful experiments along the way, and for the PhD students, perhaps more importantly, your failed ones. Congratulate yourselves on the conference presentations or the paper that you got published, even after those scathing comments from reviewer 3. Take this time to look back at where you started and see just how far you've come. What you have achieved is no small feat, and you have yourselves to commend for these tremendous achievements. While only one name is printed on our degrees today, it goes without saying that our achievements are not an individual effort. Behind every success, there is a great team, and I think all of us here today can agree that these achievements would not have been possible without all of those who have supported us along the way. If it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a whole lot more to raise a PhD. Firstly, to all our supervisors, you were there to guide us in the right direction most of the time, to help us when things were not going according to plan, and to celebrate with us, usually in the Swan when things were going right. For me, this was Professor Fergal O'Brien and Dr. Caroline Curtin here in RCSI, as well as Professor Katrina O'Driscoll in the University College Cork. Their guidance and support was invaluable throughout my time and the course of my PhD, and I have no doubt that this sentiment holds true for many of my colleagues here today. I'd also like to take this opportunity to express my serious gratitude to the numerous funding bodies and sponsors. They are the people who take a chance on us and they give us the means to carry out our research. To Professor Darren O'Connor, all the staff in the School of Postgraduate Studies, both past and present, yes, I have been here quite a while, as well as the Postgraduate Student Union. Thank you for all that you do. I'd also like to take this time to thank those who may not often get the gratitude for their work. This includes all the administrative and technical staff here at RCSI, finance, IT, lab managers, technicians, the porters, the catering staff who work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that we have the best of facilities, equipment, and sufficient amounts of caffeine to carry out our research. I think I speak for all my fellow graduates when I say that our achievements would not have been possible without the support and help of our loved ones. This journey can be isolating and very lonely at times, and your love, patience, and support plays an immeasurable role in getting each of us to this day. On perhaps a more selfish and personal note, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my own parents and my brother and sister who are in the audience today for their unwavering support over the years. It took my poor mother lighting half the candles available on this island to get me to this point. You were my biggest supporters throughout this journey, and never once tried to change my mind when I exclaimed every few weeks that I had had enough and was quitting. Finally, once more to my fellow graduates, as you leave here, recognize that you're in a privileged position to shape the world that we live in. You are the next generation of leaders in education, healthcare, research, and society. If I can leave you with one message today, it is that your playing small does not serve the world. Go, do good, and in doing so, let your example be the light for others to follow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donal. It now gives me great pleasure to invite the President of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, Professor Laura Vianney, to address us.
So good afternoon and welcome Chancellor NUI, Registrar NUI, Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Past President, Head School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences, Head of School of Postgraduate Studies, Director of the Health Professional Education Centre, Associate Director of Academic Affairs, academic staff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our graduates here today, most importantly, and of course, especially our new Honorary Doctor, Professor Rose Ann Kenny. You are most welcome here today. Thank you. It is my pleasure to preside over this conferring ceremony and welcome you and your families here today. This ceremony is a fitting recognition of the hard work and commitment that you've shown in your postgraduate studies over the last number of years. The Platform Party and the RCSI staff understand the academic commitment and focus that is required to be awarded an RCSI postgraduate degree, diploma or certificate. Your qualifications open up a world of wonderful opportunity as you continue on an exciting intellectual journey of lifelong discovery, with leadership opportunities arising as a consequence of your demonstrated commitment to your career. We also hope that the education you have received in RCSI will instill in you a sense of curiosity about not only medicine and the health sciences, but also the world at large. It is this which will not only enrich your life, but also allow you to contribute to society in a meaningful way, and that is very important. Today, we also acknowledge your families who've supported you during your years of training and practice. We acknowledge those who've made sacrifices to support your career and rightly are proud of your achievement to date. Medicine and health sciences, however, face many challenges, and it is certain that all of you will work in an increasingly complex healthcare environment where you will need to use all the skills that you've gained during your postgraduate study here in RCSI. Healthcare professionals of the future will need to be adaptive to the constant expansion of medical and scientific knowledge and societal expectations, in addition to regulatory change, all of which require a commitment to lifelong learning and an ability to adapt to the changing world that we live in today. We compliment you on these concrete steps and the resultant award as part of your lifelong learning journey. The awards presented here today will give you a solid foundation to continue on this exciting journey. To support you in such a journey and manage the challenges in healthcare professionals face, we would not only encourage you to maintain the strong links you now have with RCSI, but we would also encourage you to form close bonds with those you work with. Increasingly, throughout our lives, there will be an emphasis on teamwork, which requires the ability to communicate effectively, demonstrate leadership, acquire an understanding of the working of the management and the administrative systems in which you will work. Into the future, professional and ethical issues facing health science professionals will only increase as the scientific and medical complexity within the world that we live in becomes even more complex. Additional challenges within science is the corrosion of truth and the promotion of so-called alternative facts, touted to support various social and political agenda. It is up to us to advocate for true facts as we understand them and to engage with the sceptical public. Social policies supporting vaccination programs and tackling global warming, for instance, can only be unequivocally addressed in this manner. These are just a few of the many examples where we need clear leadership from the scientific community, just like yourselves. Within medicine and healthcare, it is also becoming increasingly apparent that no healthcare system can fully support all the healthcare needs of society. So it's important to be an advocate, not only for each patient you may encounter, but it's also important to understand the broader societal needs in the communities you will work and use the resources at your disposal carefully. Despite the challenges facing science and the health sciences throughout the world, the basis of all patient care is empathy, which is the ability to understand and share the feeling of others. Unfortunately, the commercialization of medicine and healthcare, the medical legal environment, and new IT technologies can hinder expression of empathy and harm the doctor and the scientific patient relationship. However, empathy must form the basis of all of our practice, even when working in difficult circumstances, and it is this which makes the professions we represent so rewarding. Very importantly today, we acknowledge your families and colleagues who've supported you while you work towards your qualification. We acknowledge those who may have made sacrifices to support you throughout the years. Today is also time to acknowledge the commitment of the academic staff, professional staff, and mentors who have supported you over the last number of years. It is their endeavours which have given you the skills to practice, which will allow you to make a significant contribution to the well-being of the communities in which you will work. RCSI is rightly proud of our commitment to developing healthcare leaders who make a difference worldwide, and this is our ambition for you. Today, we graduated a total of 130 doctors and scientists with postgraduate certificates and diplomas in health professions, education, Masters of Pharmacy, Master in Technology and Analytics and Precision Medicine, Doctors of Medicine and Doctors of Philosophy. You will join 20,000 alumni in over 90 countries worldwide who have graduated from RCSI over the years. We are proud of our international reach and we look forward for your contribution to the growing body of alumni who are making a difference worldwide and whom we are very proud of. Finally, let me congratulate you again, all our graduates, and acknowledge the support of your families. I wish you every success in your personal and professional life, and I'm confident that your award today will equip you well for the challenges you will encounter in your further training and future careers. And I've got one saying is, the best way to predict your future is to create it. So it is up to you to create your own future. So thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a lovely evening with your families and colleagues.
Thank you, President. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce the Chancellor of the National University of Ireland, Dr. Maurice Manning.
President, Vice President, Registrar, Dean, colleagues, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, but in particular, you, our new graduates or postgraduates, many of you with a few graduations already under your belt, but it's always an enjoyable occasion. As Chancellor of the National University of Ireland, I'm delighted to be here for this afternoon's ceremony. And in our ceremony today, the focus is on academic achievements of a high order. I'm delighted to welcome those who are graduating with postgrad certificates and diplomas, master's degrees and doctorates, to welcome you as graduates of the National University of Ireland, and my warmest congratulations to you. You have all worked hard at expanding your knowledge, extending your skills, and developing your professional capabilities. You have succeeded against the backdrop of an extremely challenging time, both for the health service, but also for higher education. For this, you deserve high commendation, and on behalf of the NUI, I'm very pleased to give you on this special day of conferring. This is also a joyful day for parents, families, and friends who are here with the new graduates. Many of you have travelled long distances to come to the conferring, and I know you would not have wanted to miss this occasion. Indeed, for all of us, an occasion like this is quite simply wonderful after the past few years of isolation, remote working, not being able to look each other in the eye, to shake hands, to enjoy the physical presence we all, that such an occasion like this has. So it's wonderful for all of us. And you certainly have earned the right to celebrate today, to feel proud in your achievements. And certainly we all do, but also I'm sure you have a feeling of great relief, especially those of you doing PhDs, to have actually reached this point. I'm continually impressed by the range of academic programs and specializations that RCSI offers at the postgraduate level. A growing postgraduate offering signals that RCI is able both to anticipate and to respond swiftly to specialist healthcare, education and training needs. The diversity and the quality of the award, some of them for the first time, testifies to the research and practice-based reputation of RCSI's faculty and staff and the quality of its research and development facilities. Academic study and research at postgraduate level are demanding and intense activities. We know that very often students are combining their studies with employment and may well also be caring for families at home. To complete your studies has required determination and stamina in addition to the necessary intellectual capacity. For all of these qualities and for your sustained academic efforts, some over the past year, others over several years, you deserve great credit. So I applaud you on your achievements, and I also applaud your families who gave you the necessary backup and support during all of this time. Now, I think the choice of Professor Roseanne Kenny to receive the honorary doctorate, a very rare award from the RCSI to receive it, was an inspired choice. We've already heard of her academic career, and I'm not going to go into that, but what I want to say is how much I enjoyed the lecture she gave today. It was wise, humane, tips for people like myself who are, on the wrong end of it, but still there. It was the sheer humanity, the wisdom, but also the fact that all of it is based on the most recent and cutting edge of research, all put across in a way which was so easily communicated, so easy to understand. And in a way, Professor Kenny, and I speak not as a medic, I'm a mere historian who dabbled in politics for a while, but speaking as, in a way, an outsider, but somebody who is a close observer, Professor Kenny personifies much that is great about the Irish medical situation today. An internationally rated researcher at the cutting edge of research in her own area, helping to make progress and improve the condition of mankind on a worldwide basis, is part of what she, in her own small way, but significant way, helps. But she also personifies the current state of Irish medicine in that she manages to combine all of these skills at world level and a great ability to communicate without losing the run of herself, by able to remain herself, to communicate her sense of care and concern, commitment, medical vocation, maybe we call it, that she manages to convey all of that without ever losing the run of herself or without ever creating any sense of pomposity or being special in any way. And I have seen this, and I've been through a very rough medical time in my own family lately, and I've seen at first level the sheer quality of the Irish hospital system, the level of care, doctors working together, in a collegial way to get the best results. And Professor Kenny, to my mind, typifies all that is best in Irish medicine at the present time, and which I hope those of you who continue on will certainly embody in your lives. She's also a person of great faith. Her father was on the last Mayo team to win an All-Ireland, and she believes that Mayo can do it again. And I think maybe she's right, and let's hope they will. But on that note, I want to offer my best wishes to the graduates, to the President, the Registrar, and all the staff here who have contributed to your success. And I wish you all personal, professional fulfillment, good luck and good health in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the RCSI degree conferring ceremonies. Can I once again congratulate our honorary doctorate recipient and our new graduates. You managed to complete your studies during the most challenging 2 years in the clinical environment and in higher education that we have ever experienced. I think it's a tribute to your commitment and to your dedication and your resilience. I think qualities that I have no doubt will serve you well in your futures, wherever it takes you. We'd like to invite your guests to join us for a reception in the college hall and boardroom. We'd ask the graduates to stay with us for class photographs. And finally, if I could ask you to be upstanding for the outward procession. Thank you.